chaos. We love it. We all do. And you're not being honest with yourself if you say you don't. Sure, we love peace too. We love not having to worry about negative things and situations, but at the end of the day, human beings get bored if there isn't enough chaos or drama to deal with and or talk about. That's how I feel best about describing this whole gambling situation and how much Shohei Ohtani's been brought up with it. Controlled chaos. I mean, think about it. If something is planned, no matter how crazy it is, people kind of love it. Even if it was the damn purge or something, or fire started falling from the sky. Sure, if it all happened out of nowhere, people would be freaking out. But if you had days, weeks, or months to prepare and knew the chaos was coming, you'd at least be somewhat ready for it. Obviously a very extreme example, but you get my point. Drama gets people talking. Always. Even if it's something that would result in a bad outcome, people still kind of want it. A bad outcome like Shohei Ohtani getting banned from baseball, or at the very least getting something that would paint him in a bad light, make him a bad guy. Even if he continues to play, he wouldn't be the hero he's currently hailed as. Some people kind of want that. Now, I won't say it's most people because that's just not true. I refuse to believe most baseball fans are actively rooting for the downfall and demise of one of the most likable and positive players baseball has ever had. Probably the most likable and most productive in terms of growing the sport. I mean, it really is insane the constant sponsorships the Dodgers get now because of Ohtani. The international stardom, I don't even have to get into all this, you know it. I just really don't understand some people's desire to see Ohtani be guilty in some gambling scandal, and it's something the media is really trying to push as well, or at least keep going even though that part of the investigation is over. It's a really weird situation and scandal all around to begin with, just like if you enjoy these videos and haven't subscribed to the channel yet, as the story all came out so suddenly. The original story changed within hours. It was weird. I mean, Ippei Mazahara, Shohei Ohtani's now former interpreter and someone he was best friends with the Dodgers in the dugout right next to Ohtani like everything was fine in the first game of the year in Korea. Little did we know, but hours before that, Ippei had given an interview to ESPN about what was going on, saying that Ohtani helped pay off his debt through his illegal gambling bookie in California, where it's illegal to gamble on sports. Ippei apparently never gambled on baseball, a narrative that hasn't changed even when his story did, after he was of course let go by the team. The story then became that Ohtani had no idea of anything, didn't willingly help Ippei pay off any debts. Ippei did all of this without his knowledge, with Ippei himself telling ESPN reporter Tisha Thompson that he lied to her in their first interview over the phone. So an investigation by MLB is launched into Ippei, and Ohtani, who had the ability to not cooperate with this investigation, chose to cooperate and do everything he could possibly do, giving the authorities his phone. And after the investigation, things only got worse for Ippei. The original amount of a few $1 million stolen from Ohtani's bank account was found as $16 million. More details were found, like Ippei telling Ohtani's agents and financial advisors that he preferred to keep his bank accounts private, allegedly faked Ohtani's identity on phone calls with bank employees to authorize transfers, turned off notifications so Ohtani himself wouldn't see any of this, and as for Ohtani, he was found even less innocent and even more of a victim than he was before. Ippei has since been charged in dealing with the law, recently agreeing to plead guilty to felony bank fraud and submitting a false tax return, while Ohtani has since somehow gotten even better offensively and has just been awesome on the field. He's just having a grand old time on a great Dodger team. And now there's more reports coming out about Ippei's situation and more names involved with everything. David Fletcher is an infielder in the Atlanta Braves organization, who by the way has also been experimenting with pitching, throwing knuckleballs and striking people out with them in AAA this year. But he's been an infielder his whole professional career, and he's also someone caught up in this whole investigation. According to ESPN, Fletcher bet on sports with the same illegal bookmaker who received bets from Ippei. It's not thought that Fletcher bet on baseball at all, but it is being reported that his friend Colby Schultz, who played in the Kansas City Royals system for a couple of years, did bet on baseball and actually bet on Angels games that Fletcher played in when he was on the Angels. MLB is now launching an investigation into Fletcher, and league investigators will request an interview with Fletcher at some point, although he has the right, just like Ohtani did, to refuse cooperation if he can claim he could be the subject of a criminal investigation, as he already has not responded to multiple requests for comment by ESPN. Now, if Fletcher did indeed bet on sports with that illegal bookmaker, which looks to be the case even though he denied it back in March, as long as the sport wasn't baseball, it's reported that he'd likely get fined instead of any suspension. So this isn't the potential end of Fletcher's career or anything, at least as far as we know with what is being reported, but if if you notice a pattern with these reports on what's going on, reporters like Thompson are making it very important that Fletcher was an Angel for several years and friends with Shohei Ohtani, reported as being one of Ohtani's best friends in baseball. And of course, this is only going to further fuel the conspiracy that Shohei Ohtani himself is guilty, and at least made bets with the illegal bookmaker on other sports, if not baseball itself, and I just can't accept that idea. And it's not because of denial or me being afraid of that reality, that's what it was before, but now it's rather because an entire investigation has already been launched into the side that would have busted Ohtani if he was guilty. When they were investigating Ippei, like I said, Ohtani fully cooperated with the authorities, gave them his phone. Evidence continued to be found that Shohei himself had no idea what was going on, but Ippei did and was going out of his way to make sure Shohei didn't, etc.
He was absolutely forthcoming on everything, was more than cooperative, gave us access to everything we asked for, volunteered things that we didn't know. He acted like a victim that wanted to get the whole story out. Mr. Muzahara had a lot of access to Shohei Ohtani's finances, personal life, everything. We went back and we started looking at the phone recordings from the banks, text messages. Just shows, I think unequivocally, that Mr. Muzahara stole money.
So the obvious defense from the people who believe, or at least want to believe, Ohtani is guilty is that this is all being covered up. The Dodgers, Major League Baseball, Ippei, all the authorities, everyone is covering up for Shohei to keep him clean. And although there are a lot of instances throughout the history of anything, of things being covered up, some pretty crazy things, and things we still don't know about to this day, with the only way it could happen being if many people played a part in covering it up, I just cannot begin to even think that's a possibility with Ohtani. It makes a ton of sense why the Dodgers as an organization would want to cover up a potentially guilty Shohei Ohtani, and it also makes a ton of sense why Major League Baseball would want to cover up a potentially guilty Shohei Ohtani. He's great for the game, he draws people in, he's exciting, a big moneymaker, people all around the entire world love him, etc. But in what world would the outside parties investigating this case, including the FBI, have any incentive to protect Shohei Ohtani? Why would they have any reason to risk doing something highly illegal to protect a baseball player? That just doesn't make sense. And if you want to say they're getting paid off, this goes to my main point, which is I just cannot see any way in hell that a cover-up like this would even be possible. The amount of people that would know about the illegal stuff going on in this theoretical situation, the amount of different parties involved and just individuals that would have to keep their mouths shut to make it work, I just cannot see this being a possibility. It's always healthy to question things, always. You shouldn't just believe everything you hear, ever. And if some report comes out that there's proof that Ohtani is guilty, I will 100% admit that I was wrong, obviously. But with what we know, that's just not going to happen. Ohtani's side of this investigation and situation is over. You can say whatever you want about how fishy and convenient everything looks, but at the end of the day, he's a victim here, and there's nothing to remotely show otherwise, period. And any baseball fan should want that to be the case. Nobody should be rooting for the face of the sport and someone who's undeniably growing it in such a great way to go down and be a villain. That's just crazy and simply wanting chaos for the sake of wanting chaos, and I hate Shohei for something, just for the fact that there's nothing currently to hate him for, other than, he hits home runs against your team. And again, for the media to keep bringing up Ohtani's name in connection to Ippei and Fletcher, guys who are seen as guilty, they know what they're doing. They know that stuff like that will only further rile up the Shohei is guilty conspiracy people, even though it's already been thoroughly looked through by multiple parties with evidence found to contradict that conspiracy. Shohei Ohtani somehow coming up guilty in an illegal gambling operation would undoubtedly be the biggest and craziest bombshell story and scandal in baseball history. But fortunately, that story doesn't exist, and everyone should look at it that way. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.